for education. By 400 AD, the scriptures had been translated into over 500 languages. But now the Church in Rome allowed only one language, and that language was Latin. The technique to sustain its power was simple. Control people's minds by controlling their education, and control their education by controlling their language. One empire, many languages, but only Latin was allowed for education and instruction. The Pope was elevated to God's sole agent to lead the Church, and resistance to his leadership was an act of heresy, punishable by excommunication or death. A world that had become free in Christ would now be plunged into a 1,000-year period, from AD 400 to 1400, a period that would become known as the Dark and Middle Ages. The Church demanded confession, penance, pilgrimages, the adoration of saints, and the doctrine of transubstantiation, which says that during Mass, the bread and wine become, in substance, the body and blood of Jesus. Indulgences were granted for crimes that ranged from adultery to murder, and rendered the state powerless to prosecute the criminal. Pope Julius granted an indulgence to the future Pope Leo X, who was married with 2 children. A list of tariffs for various indulgences was established by Pope John XXII and first published by Pope Leo X. You could kill a man for $1.75. You could ravish a virgin for $2. A priest could keep a mistress for $2.25. Or for $12, you could be absolved of all crimes together. Augustine's proclamation of prostitution as a necessary evil resulted in over 100,000 prostitutes being employed by the Church. And their symbol of power was marvelous buildings such as St. Peter's Basilica in Rome that threatened to bankrupt the Church unless new devices for raising money could be employed. One such way was to extract enormous sums of money from parishes by granting pardon for penance in purgatory. Popes Julius and Leo declared the Holy Wars to justify the mass slaughter of Jews in order to steal their money and possessions to finance the building of the Vatican. Pope Leo X revealed the truth of his convictions when he stated, "How profitable the fable of Christ has been to us." This was the age of 2 popes, one in France and one in Rome. They were making a mockery of Christianity. Urban VI and Clement VII were each claiming to be pope, and both were threatening the other with excommunication. Urban called for war. John Wycliffe replied, "How dare he make a token of Christ on the cross as a banner to lead us to slay Christian men for the love of 2 false priests?" The Pope, Wycliffe said, was not the voice of God on earth. The Bible was. The Pope, he said, may not even be among those chosen for heaven.
flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. Their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. People cover real deeds of evil and darkness, instead expose them. These Hollywood movies
He talks. Check this out.
New World Order.
New Order of the Ages. Novus Ordo. Yeah.
and imagery that of the dollar, the symbol has been associated with the Illuminati and with Freemasonry. Although Latin is hard to find, an owl symbol the divine sciences because those possessing the arcana are able to see through the darkness of ignorance and materiality. Owls and bats were consequently often associated with either witchcraft or wisdom.
Let's go up. We could 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 get up. We could go up. Let's go up. We could go up. Let's go up. We could go up. For your bitch for my brunch.
This is why they use the owl in this music video, because it's a symbol of wisdom and witchcraft. You have to understand the owl is a nocturnal bird. Nocturnal means done, occurring, or active at night. So the owl functions at night and symbolizes wisdom. So the owl is representing knowledge and insight of what really goes on behind closed doors at night where you cannot see it. And the owl also represents witchcraft. So what are these people doing at night? Witchcraft, the rituals, the Satan worship, all of that stuff.
This is the sign of the horns, a curse sign, the two fingers extended. This way, spread apart for sort of shotgun blast.
Yeah, but if the devil's in the details, then I'm satanic.
This is the sign of the horns, a curse sign.
Yeah, but if the devil's in the details, then I'm satanic.
They're literally telling you they're satanic. The guy that initially showed the sign of the horns is Anton LaVey, and he was the high priest and founder of the Church of Satan. And now Drake is saying if the devil's in the details, then I'm satanic, and then shows you the sign of the devil horns. Even Kanye West talks about the devil being in the details.
To make a nigga with a mesh shirt, there's levels to my retail. The devil's in the detail.
And he
Music.
is a lie.
Jay-Z and Nicki Minaj say Billboard like
Is so dumbed down, so ignorant, and so void of critical thinking that they wouldn't believe it if it smacked them in the face. Even XXXTentacion, before he died, hinted at selling his soul in his song I Spoke to the Devil in Miami.
Heartless is reckless, this is word of a pacifist, word of a masochist, all for the man, my lord, I spoke to a bad.
Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. You can see it when you look out your window.
Be a blessing to him. Biggest.
Here we can see this lady speaking into the microphone that's in Benny Hinn's hand, on his right hand.
It's so sick that we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go watch.
Sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the
Number 322.
Come right in, brother Squidward.
You ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club.
Well, it was good to catch up, but I better be going. I'm gonna be late for my secret club initiation.
initiation.
Yeah, apparently you get a really cool ring for joining.
Brother Mordecai, you have made a pact with the Order of the Blondes.
Here's a really cool ring to show that you're a member of our really cool club.
By the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted. care about you at all. Man. And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on. The fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day.
So let's go to the book Esoteric Hollywood by Jay Dyer, page 39. Note the similarity of imagery in Eyes Wide Shut to the Rothschilds ball described earlier in chapter 1, and the celebrations at the 40th birthday of Prince Pavlos of Greece, as well as revelations concerning IMF banker Dominique Strauss-Kahn's sex parties, as reported by New York Times. The investigation into the prostitution ring in Lila ultimately swept up 10 suspects, including Mr. Strauss-Kahn. They knew each other largely through their membership as French Freemasons, according to Carl Van Damme, a defense lawyer who represents Fabrice Paskowski, the owner of the medical supply company, who played a crucial role in organizing the sex parties. Author Terry Melanson comments, the Heaven Hell themed party was held at Prince Pavlov's £12 million London mansion, and participants were decked out in masks and costumes suggestive of Eyes Wide Shut. Ice sculptures of angels graced a marquee with room for 200 in the garden, which was meant to be heaven, writes Colin, more than any other class are Jones and Crown Prince Hall societies, European Commissioner, and a number of place people who take part in sadism, torture, and murder.
Darkopolis ritual.
Children have a pure human soul, so that's who they use for the rituals.
Boy.
They'll locate his or her from the bodies, drink the blood, and participate. The reason why she was spaced out like that was
if they didn't watch
at the watering hole. Dream. And in this movie, these reptilians were kidnapping these kids and then stealing their screams. Literally the same plot as Monsters, Inc. Own chemical structure. The leading figure in this movie with political or economic influence, hybrid bloodlines that run. It is no exaggeration to say that in Ike's view, every person who's ever held political, religious, or economic influence at any point in human history is a reptilian crossbreed.
Now, back in the 30s, FDR made a deal with these reptilians to exchange people for technology. That was the basis of the New Deal. But ever since, they've been slowly replacing all the world leaders to create a nuclear holocaust to make global warming real for their takeover.
The Knights Templar, the Illuminati, and most of the other bête noirs of contemporary conspiracy theory are simply fronts for the vast reptilian conspiracy, and the establishment of the New World Order is their central goal. If this were not enough, they also passionately enjoy drinking human blood. Now, I'm not 100% sure if these reptilian things live among us, but I know Hollywood isn't putting it in their movies for no reason.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio. The sharing of biased and false news has first.
And this is extreme. Inform us that you're governed by a cult, worship of Mason wrote a book revealing Masonic secrets entitled Illustration of Freemasonry. One of the secrets they revealed is that the last mystery at the top of the Masonic pyramid is the worship of Lucifer.
We think this is a brainwashing facility for an evil cult. Well, maybe this is the secret relic thingy they worship.
Your government, celebrities, and secret societies all worship Lucifer. This entire country, in fact, this entire world, is under Satan.
Hail Satan!
They even hint at it in the movie Epic Movie. So first, they start you off with the pyramid. Look familiar? Now around 30 or 40 seconds later, she's screaming, the code. What's the code?
Oh my god! Oh god, the code, please!
Now listen to what this guy says.
Habeas corpus, e pluribus unum.
He said habeas corpus, e pluribus unum. These subtitles under this country, America, your government, is under Satan. This country is ran by Satanists. Even in the movie Tom and Jerry, it shows that Hollywood is also under Satan.
Sir, it's him.
Hollywood. He's supposed to give you the creeps.
Greetings. Who's willing to serve so any on a high?
Seeing the world, he didn't exist.
You have the look of a man who accepts what he sees, tumbling down the rabbit hole.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. Is it really so hard to believe? This is the world that you know. You've been living in a dream world, Neo.
You create the world of the dream. We bring the subject into that dream, and they fill it with their subconscious.
How could I ever acquire enough detail to make them think that it's reality?
Well, dreams, they feel real while we're in them, right? It's only when we wake up that we realize something is actually strange.
The token of a...
I'll let you walk out.
What to do?
Well, it was good to catch up, but I better be going. I'm gonna be late for my secret club initiation.
Initiation?
Yeah, apparently you get a really cool ring for joining. In fact, there's...
So, but...
Especially in eternity.
So, you can tell just by looking at them there.
If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree, thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
Paul Harvey. Good day.